The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts. To my right is a man who did something this weekend that I could probably never do, but I might try it sometime. But hey, good for him. He for trying did more than I did. Dustin, Dustin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself? I mean, I would say that you could handle it. If I could do it with next to no training. Now, for those of you who don't know, I was trying to row 70 miles over the weekend, and I did not train sufficiently for this, and all in one day. And I rode 31 miles, and before I said, discretion is the better part of valor, I got to throw in the towel. But hey, 31.6 miles on next to no training. I'll take it. If I could do that, you could definitely do that because you've been a little bit more regular with the gym than I have in recent years. So,
Yeah, Tag Along is currently whining, and he's joined the chat, so to speak. But maybe he'll make an appearance himself. But yeah, my sister's not home. She's actually at your sister's place.
Oh, okay.
Right now, so they're having a grand old time. I'm pretty sure they're watching No Ticket Required.
Oh yeah, hopefully,
No,
because I
they're
called
not.
my sister out. I said, I know it's the only time you watch the show. I did remind her that it was starting tonight, and she went, already? And I said, well, we added more movies because that's what the people voted for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do try to thank you to everybody that watches this show, whether you watch it sometimes or regularly, but we do try to factor in your opinions because we've also upped our baseball coverage on the show because that was one of the things that was requested. Here we are.
Yes. And
we're men of the people, Ryan.
And one of the people who actually requested more baseball coverage doesn't really watch anymore. I don't see her in the chat anymore. That's what happens when you get married. You know, don't show up in the chat. But before we get to everything, this is what's on the menu tonight. It's our first iteration, 2025 iteration of No Ticket Required. We are reviewing Draft Day. This is an entertainment-laden episode, by the way. So we're reviewing Draft Day. We're going to talk about the upcoming Madden movie. Yes, Madden, starring Christian Bale and Nicolas Cage. We're going to talk about the Untold, the fall of Brett Favre that's on Netflix. We're also going to reveal our favorite athletes to wear the number 38. But before we do that, we just want to gently remind the folks watching, whether they're watching on YouTube live or on replay on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. If they're listening on podcast and their preferred podcast app, we just want to remind you to follow us. Please follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required. Give us a follow on all those platforms. You can also listen to our other podcasts and written art. You can also read written articles on bellyupsports.com. Podcast side: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora. Subscribe to the podcast in your preferred podcast platform. And also get yourself notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we go live. That way you know when we get show announcements. I've been doing memes about playoff series, sharing the summary and gifts. I didn't get a chance to do it today because things were really busy at work. But I'll probably resume it tomorrow about the Eastern Conference Final in the NBA and the Western Conference Final in the NHL, which Dustin's Oilers are currently up 2-1. Ooh. I was listening to the game while I was doing some light detail on my car on Sunday afternoon between the rains. Between the rain.
Oh man, we've been getting just dumped on with rain.
I'm sick of it. I'm hoping we don't get too much rain, although it says tomorrow we might get a shower or two. Same with Thursday. Same with Friday, Saturday. It's like, anytime.
Oh man.
Anywho, on the podcast side, rate, review, comment. 5-star rating would be very helpful as a rating. Review if you're on a podcast platform where you can review, and also if you're on Spotify, if you subscribe to us on Spotify, leave us a comment for every episode, past, present, and future. And also, if you're on the YouTube, Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, where this replay will be tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, leave us a comment during the show. What do you think of Draft Day? What do you think of the Madden movie that's coming up? What do you think of the Brett Favre Untold? Also, who your favorite athlete is to number 38, and what Dustin should do with his collapsed picnic table.
That's right. That's right.
Because we're a live show Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. and the occasional Saturday. Although, program note, we'll have another Friday happy hour on Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Another happy hour Friday. We won't be joined by our friend Kevin because it's a Saturday thing. So we'll be the two of us in the parlor having an adult beverage and talking sports. But yes, in the meantime, we got comments rolling in. We'll get to them in just a second. But please, Dustin, I know it's a short week, but it's a certain time that I cherish and love. And I think you know what it is.
3-day weekends do not affect the phenomenon known as chime time.
And for some of us more immortals, it's a 4-day weekend. But anyway, chime time. Get the comments rolling in. D's Ray Sunshine joined us a minute before we went on, saying Desi has joined the chat. Thank you very much.
Happy to have you.
I'm sorry. He's no longer going by Daniel Smooth. He's now Dan Cruz of the Time to BS podcast, saying, say his name and he appears. I believe in the BS.
He cruised right into the comments.
By the way, don't lose your title, man. Joe Hendry lost his TNA title to Trick Williams on Sunday night during Battleground.
Oh, man. Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh, but now that sets up the story. Will he win it back, Ryan? Let's see. Let's see. Or will he win will he dethrone the current NXT champion, Obafemi? Let's see. That could be.
He's also giving you some love, saying we have some love for you in the chat in regards to your row, saying points for effort. Desi saying 31.6 miles, A for effort. So good for you.
Thanks.
You're getting some and Desi saying also points for great hair, Dustin.
Oh, thank you very much. Recently got it cut. It's much easier to style when it's shorter, so I like it better.
Right, I get it. And the pink can of sap is showing up in the chat saying sports ball.
Oh man, long time. Always nice to see the pink hand.
Absolutely. Mr. Cruz saying Hall of Fame worthy song choice. By the way, Dustin, a 90s one-hit wonder.
Well, you might be referring to Craig Mack, but I'm going to spoil it. That is not what I am referencing. What am I referencing? You'll have to remain to find out.
And also Ilsa says Ryan, was the weather calling for Creedence Clearwater Revival?
Maybe. Never seen the rain, right?
Or Who'll Stop the Rain?
Oh yeah, Who'll Stop the Rain? But yeah. There's a couple.
Mr. Cruz saying, "Get the tables." Yes, Devon, get the tables. Dizzy saying, "I saw the rain. I saw the rain today." Yep. Yeah, here comes the rain again. As the Eurythmics once said. Also, Mr. Smooth saying, "I'm going for the fabulous Ms. Moolah's title record."
Oh man, a fabulous Moolah reference on the show. Man. he's Mr. Cruz is coming with the hits, man.
He is. Although the WWE, she's persona non grata now.
Yeah. They've distanced themselves for reasons that are not so fabulous from Moolah.
And it's spelled PIMP. All right. Did I say too much? Okay. Anyway, although technically not true, but I don't know. It's up to the viewer. We'll revisit that another. We'll visit that Dark Side of the Ring down the road. But anyway,
yeah, we might have to get Tony Atlas's thoughts on that.
Yes.
We're very close with him. I've never seen Tony Atlas and Ryan in the same room, And he's a correspondent of the show, though. He makes an appearance on the Mr. McMahon documentary review.
Fabulous bullet. Never mind. All right, let's review this movie. We're going to review Draft Day. Here it is, folks. The 2025 debut of No Ticket Required. Hit my music. And Mr. Cruz in the chat saying, Jeebus, Ryan, that's what you need. And I've also been, and Desi saying, can you ever say too much? You don't have to say anything at all. Name that movie. Name that movie.
Oh man, I can't name it. I'm falling all over myself right now.
Hot Fuzz. All right.
Oh, okay.
It's towards the end of the movie.
The Coronado trilogy.
Yes, the best of the best movie of the Cornetto trilogy.
Cornetto, yeah,
AKA the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy.
Yeah, I might have to disagree with you. I give it the nod to Shaun of the Dead, but I will admit that at World's End, not great. That one, they lost the plot with that one.
Yeah, that was not their best effort. I think they kind of milled that one in. I think.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
If there's a movie that needs a redo, it's The World's End. That's for sure. All right, we are beginning the 2025 No Ticket Required movie review series with the 2014 Draft Day. Draft Day starring Kevin Costner, also including. Let's see let's look at this cast of this movie.
Jennifer Garner's in it.
Jennifer Garner, swoon.
Chadwick Boseman.
Hey, Jennifer Garner, how you doing?
Chadwick
Boseman, Frank Langella, Chad McBride, Chris Berman, who is going to basically be actually, did you see that Chris Berman signed for another 4 years at ESPN?
Oh wow, no.
He'll be there for their 50th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what he wanted in his contract. And I gotta wonder how much he's got in Disney stock.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Chadwick Boseman, Frank Langella, who played Skeletor in the live-action Masters of the Universe. Your usual cast of characters in terms of the draft, like Chris Berman, Mel Kiper, John Gruden, Deion Sanders, Mike Mayock. Also in this movie, Arian Foster, who played in the NFL for a few seasons with the Houston Texans.
Yeah. And then you got Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary as Coach Penn. Yes, absolutely.
And then someone who has been in the news who we won't mention here.
No. Let's just say this was not the type of party we expected in this movie. But let's talk about this movie, Dustin. Let me get your thoughts about Draft Day. I've never seen Draft Day until last night after I had my steak dinner, had a couple beers in me. I'm good to go. It's a Monday night before I go back to work. I'm saying to myself, all right, let's watch this movie. So I put on Netflix, Draft Day's on. Let's talk about this movie, Dustin. Let's give your thoughts about when you saw it first, and then give me some of your thoughts as you watched the movie.
Okay, so as we discussed, this is not my first time seeing this movie. I had seen it many years ago, probably around the time that it first came out, maybe 6-7 months after, because as I've mentioned on the show, my dearly departed mom had a massive thing for Kevin Costner. So she would watch anything with Kevin Costner in it. He didn't even have to be the lead guy. She wanted to watch Man of Steel, and I'm like, why? And then I remembered Kevin Costner plays Pa Kent. There's a scene in that movie that has been memed to death. Figure it out. But I first watched this movie with my mom, and I remember thinking back then that it was a little cheesy, but I was like, hey, I can deal with it. There's some moments in this movie. But on my second rewatch, I really had problems with this movie. I really had problems, and I couldn't put my finger on why, but I think I figured it out, Ryan. Given a couple days to reflect, because I watched this thing on Saturday night before the big row. I was like, I want to do something to relax before, get my head right. So I watched Draft Day. And I think the reason that I had problems with this movie, more problems, because you got to suspend disbelief. That's part of a movie. You got to suspend things. But the reason that I had such a problem is because we watched, what did we review last year, right before the football season? Hard Knocks off season.
Mm-hmm.
What process does that detail? The NFL draft process. So then when you start watching Draft Day, you're just like, oh my God, this is so over the top. So it brought back a memory of watching this with Mom, and now you know why I kept referencing pancakes before our review. You know the line, you know exactly what happens. But so my favorite part to open this movie, it set the tone for my whole review. Seahawks headquarters, they get a call. They go to get their GM. His eyes are wide open when the guy opens the door, and then he shuts them again to make it look like he's tired and sleeping. So I'm like, oh man, here we go. So, but I had forgotten that Chadwick Boseman plays Vontae Mack. He does a good job, a good performance, because I always liked Chadwick Boseman, especially you found out how sick he was doing a lot of his final movies. Massive respect to Chadwick, but I think Jennifer Garner is the best performance in this movie and the most believable performance. The rest of this is so over the top and heavy-handed. Let me go through the thing. So within the first 20 minutes, even less, it was like 17 minutes, Kevin Costner, aka Sonny Weaver Jr., has already been threatened with firing. And there's already been protests, and the radio hosts are getting on him, and he's got the phone call from the Seahawks GM trying to quote unquote fleece him, all within 17 minutes, and his hand is shaking from the stress. It's the only time his hand shakes the entire movie, but he's stressed to the max. So then you got the head coach coming in, and he lights the playbook on fire because he's pissed at the GM and he starts a fire in his office and throws it on the desk. Who acts like this? The coach is like, you hired me to coach this roster. And Leary keeps flashing his one Super Bowl ring. Usually the way he references them, he acted like he won 7 of them. No, he has 1. And he's like, you hired me to get one of these. And he's like, my wife did not want to come to this jackwagon of a city, Cleveland. We could have gone anywhere else, but I chose this team to coach Brian Drew at quarterback, who might have a bum knee. We're not sure, but he's in the best shape of his life. And then Chadwick Boseman is like, you could tell that one Vontae Mack is the player that Kevin Costner, aka Sonny Weaver, really wants to draft. But then when he gets wind, apparently the Browns organization cannot keep anything under wraps because the media is all over this potential trade to get Bo Callahan. So then Chadwick Boseman calls him up, and not seemingly, he does it. The GM takes advice from his draft pick, and he's like, let's review the footage. Let's review this footage. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So, okay, here's the things that I liked about this movie. I did like when Sonny Jr. corrects the coach and calls him out and asks him to treat his father's name with respect. That was like a genuine moment. I bought that. But then the QB trashes the office, Brian Drew, because he's mad, he's emotional, but he goes in, trashes his GM's office. How is no one stopping this? Also, this movie came out 2014. The iPhone was unveiled in 2007. Did Apple not give Draft Day the rights? Did they not give Ivan Reitman the rights to use iPhones? Because what are they using? Like some weird BlackBerry version looking of things?
Hey, I had a BlackBerry. She besmirched the BlackBerry.
I'm not besmirching it.
If there's one phone I can have back, it would be a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I mean, they were good phones. I'm not besmirching it, but I just found it crazy that like 7 years after the iPhone comes out, it's conspicuously absent from this movie.
Well, I think that's when movies didn't really utilize the iPhone. You see it a lot more. It's a lot more prevalent now because Apple pays consideration
product
fee.
placement.
product placement for in different movies. Same thing with Samsung. I reckon Google is probably doing the same thing with their phones too. But in those days, you didn't really think about it, and that's why you have the old those phones that had the old ring that and the beep when you hang up.
Yeah.
They probably didn't have product placement back then, or it wasn't
probably
really
not.
didn't really get the play that it does today.
Fair point. I will give you that. But I will say, I like the Sam Elliott cameo as a college coach. Always nice to see Sam Elliott. But Allie, aka Jennifer Gardner, is the only adult in the room in this movie. The rest of the people in this movie are children, and they conduct themselves as such. The whole movie, I felt bad for her. I'm like, man, she's got to deal with all these children. And then to top it all off, his mom comes in on draft day and wants him to spread the ashes on the field. I'm like, what is going on in this Browns organization? Even in the fictional setting
even in fictional movies, they're terrible.
It's a disarray. It's all over the map. And then the last thing, so hats off to Jennifer Gardner in this movie, although when she randomly screams, "Get Putney," and he's like, all right, immediately, let's get Putney. That's another thing. But the scene with the Jacksonville GM, him being that flustered and like caught off guard, and he's about to get how did he even get a job? This is the whole movie is so unbelievable, and the whole scene where Anthony Weaver, the fictional owner of the Browns, he throws the jersey on the ground because he can't give it to Bo Callahan, and he's like, "You tell Sonny that I will be in his face within the hour," and then he comes back and Sonny does Sonny, he hustles on the phone, he's working it, and then the owner's just like, "You got some set of balls, Sonny." He goes from ready to fire him I just can't. I mean, I watched it. It was okay, but I'm just like, this whole thing is woefully inaccurate and over the top. I think if I hadn't watched Hard Knocks off season last year, I would have been able to suspend my disbelief a little bit more. But Ryan, I've rambled on far too long. And I hope you have a more positive impression of this movie. It was your first ride. Yes. What did you think?
Let's go to the comment section first. Playmaker stopping by saying, "No cred, bros."
What's up, Playmaker?
Great
to see you.
And Desi saying, "This is just a representation of the actual Browns organization." Yeah. These are facts. These are facts. Yeah. Our cred heads know they're smart people.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I can, maybe it's just me. I don't know if you have the same feeling, but I think I can suspend disbelief. I have a better feeling of suspending disbelief than you do, because I'm not sure if you're a little bit, you said that the off-season Hard Knocks kind of, I didn't say ruined the experience for you, but it made you look at things in a different light, especially in organizations, because this doesn't happen at all. I mean, I looked at the facts or the trivia for this movie on IMDb, and no, you don't see 3 first-round picks getting traded for the number 1 overall pick a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, but that wasn't my whole. That wasn't part of my issue. I didn't have a problem with that.
No, because it's a fictional. It's fiction, and actually, from IMDb, it stated that this trade was kind of based on the Washington Redskins trade that they made with the Rams to get
the
Robert
RG3,
RG3,
yeah,
RG3, and. Yeah, you got to really suspend disbelief. You kind of see the give and take between Kevin Costner and Jennifer Gardner in the film. Jennifer Gardner, swoon. How you doing? I like tall women. I can't help it.
Yeah, I got you. Well, you're a tall guy. You're not a short person like me. Compared to me, you're a giant, Ryan.
I'm average. Okay, yeah. I'm or slightly above average in my height, but But yes, she was. You're definitely right in saying that she was definitely the adult in the room when it came to this organization. between the owner all constantly wearing sunglasses and trying to be
all the time.
Gotta make a splash. Gotta make a splash.
Oh yeah.
Gee, I wonder who he took that from. Oh, I don't know. It's a certain New York. There's a certain owner in New York that likes to make a splash when it comes to player signings in the draft.
But does he take his GM to a water park, Ryan, to make the metaphor?
No, because he doesn't own a water park. He's a pharmaceutical heir. That's why. He doesn't take him to the medicine factory.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed this movie. One of the reasons why I enjoyed this movie, it was fast paced. I like when it can keep. Yeah, unlike some of the movies we watched in this series, in No Ticket Required, some of them have been very slow.
King Richard, King Richard is going to be perpetually at the bottom of the list for you, always.
I mean, The Boys in the Boat was also a little bit
slow.
Yeah,
that one, that movie, yeah.
That's on your sister, by the way.
I know, and she apologized for it, you know. She was like the Canadian government. She apologized for Brian Adams.
I'm sorry. But that's the one cool thing about this movie is it just kept going. It was action packed. It moved from Seattle to Cleveland to Jacksonville to Buffalo to Houston. It's like, hey, what do you think about this guy? Because this takes you through. I mean, it's a fictional adaptation of what draft day kind of seems like. You got teams trying to move up and down the board. You got teams looking at specific. You got teams looking at specific players who they want players. You got GMs calling up other GMs saying, "Hey, what do you think about this guy?" I don't know. What do you think about this guy? It's just, and you got coaches having disagreements with their GMs. Although the come to Jesus moment for Coach Penn in this movie was probably that pick that trade to get when spoiler alert, they wound up picking Vontae Mack anyway instead of Bo Callahan.
Yep.
And you see Bo storm out Radio City Music Hall. By the way, bring the draft back to Radio City Music Hall.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Please. None of this touring. We're going to go on locate. We're going to go on the road. No, it's not as fun. It's not as fun as Radio City Music Hall where it's all close together. You got fans of different sorts coming in, but it's just so much fun. And actually the I was reading the fun facts the trivia on IMDb. And this movie, instead of the Browns, it was supposed to be the New York Jets.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
But that's why I was thinking about this movie. I'm like, okay, you had the Bills, you got the Browns, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Seahawks. Yeah. Which was kind of weird at first to me. I'm like, the Seahawks?
I know.
Never had the number one pick. And when I saw who had the number one pick, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a fictional movie.
No, yeah. They haven't had the number one pick in ever. I can't. Not since I've been following the team. I can't remember.
No, I don't remember. I don't think the Seahawks have ever had a number one draft pick, have they?
But I mean, Tom, whatever his name is, the fictional GM in this movie, he was intimidated by the cadre of 20 Seahawks fans looking to hang him outside the parking lot.
So the Seahawks have never held the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Not even when they were an expansion team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that with the exception of the Seahawks, every team represented in this movie, the Browns, the Texans, the Bills, the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I would say that loosely the Chiefs were bottom feeders in the NFL in 2014 when this movie came out. We don't think of the Bills or the Chiefs and even the Texans now as relatively bad teams anymore, but the Jaguars are perpetually bad. The Browns have been perpetually bad since their reboot in 1999.
Yeah.
So it's just of course. But going through this movie, thinking about this movie, it's really strange that why your mother would call on the day of the draft to find out that Vontae Mack had tweeted, they just traded the number one pick to the Seahawks just traded the number one pick to the Browns. I'm sad face.
Yeah.
How do you know about this, Mom? You're on Twitter? What? Ellen Burstyn, who's like 80 years old in that movie. Like,
yeah.
I'm on Twitter. No, the boomers are on Facebook, Mom.
Yeah, which I feel like when that movie came out, Twitter was only like, I want to say 4 years old, because I think Twitter was like 2010, something like that. Twitter, we'll have to see. When did old Jack Dorsey or whatever his name is originally fire Twitter up? But yeah, I don't know. And they went to Action
2006.
Park. Okay, 2006. Oh, I was off.
But Facebook came around the same time. Remember MySpace?
Oh yeah, I remember.
We'll talk about MySpace a little bit later too, because
I had music on there, man. Music.
I did too. Well, I didn't have music. I played music, but I didn't have music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, there's a lot of plot holes, you have to suspend a lot of disbelief, because nobody trades 3 first-round picks anymore. Nobody trades 3 second-round picks anymore to get the number 6 pick, to get the number 7 pick in the draft, to come back into the first round, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get fleeced early in the day, then you fleece the GM who you traded these picks to, and get a supplemental pick.
Yeah, you get David Putney on special teams.
No, it's not David Putney. It's David G.D. Putney on kick returner.
That was when the intern's like, I love when you said that. And he just laughs. He's like, I was pissed.
Like, what? How'd you make that trade? I was angry.
Yes.
And also the fact that the owner of the team, Anthony Molina, somehow flies back from New York City to Cleveland in a span of an hour and a half.
Yeah. And he says, you tell him I will be in his face within the hour.
That's not possible. Unless you're flying at like a certain, let's say the Concorde. All right. Which Concorde is no longer in existence. Although I heard they're trying to bring it back. Good. Oh man. That's cool. You could be in France in 2 hours. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this movie had its flaws. This movie had its pluses. I think the fast-paced action made it enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But there were so many curveballs that got thrown while this movie was going on. The mom marching in the office and saying, I want to place your dad's ashes at the 50-yard line. Then you come to find out that Sonny Weaver Jr. fired his dad because his mom wanted him to.
Yes.
Like, what is up with that?
And Sonny took the hit.
For it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, right now, draft day is number 1 by default.
Yes.
In terms of our rankings.
Yes, it is.
Because it's the only movie we reviewed so far. But next weekend is the Belmont Stakes in Saratoga. So next week we're going to review Seabiscuit. Another recommendation by your sister.
Yep, we're gonna see.
We'll be reviewing that movie next week because the Belmont Stakes going to be in Saratoga next week. I think this is the last year they'll have it before it goes back to Long Island in 2026 because a new track is being built next to UBS Arena. So yeah, we'll be reviewing that. We'll be reviewing Seabiscuit. We want you to join in the chat. Whether or not you like horse racing or horse movies, well, feel free to join us. And before we get to our commercial break, go visit the comment section. Mr. Cruz of Time to BS saying, Dustin, does Ryan look like Bubba Ray Dudley's secret brother, Rubba Ray Budley? Rubba Ray Rudley?
I mean, there's a little bit of resemblance there. I guess I could see it. Maybe Ryan's been moonlighting in wrestling for years. We don't know. We don't know for sure.
It's funny. I considered the pro wrestling thing for back in my early 20s. It was like, because one of my friends was like, he noted how strong I was, even though I didn't lift weights. I was still pretty strong. I still am. Yeah. I took one of those big 5-gallon water bottles you see in the machines and in the aisles. I took it and I just lifted it up like no problem. He's like, dude, you're strong. I'm like, I know. I'm farmer strong.
I know.
I know. You also asked me, did Ryan have a thing for China? No, I was more of a Trish Stratus girl. Yeah, even though she's a shorter queen, like Trish Stratus was my jam. Although Stacy Keibler was also my jam too.
Yeah. Stacy Keibler, Trish Stratus, and honorable mention to Lita for me. Yeah,
Lita. Mm-hmm.
Lita. Anytime she did the backflip off the top, I was like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, Tori Wilson too. Yeah, that was another one. Also says they went to Action Park.
That is a great reference, sir. That is a great reference. I expect nothing less from you.
In the great state of New Jersey. Does he saying, Ryan, hey, Jennifer, how you doing, little mama? And Jennifer swoons because Ryan's a boss player. It's the beard.
I misread that. I thought it said bass player.
I thought you said bass. I read it as bass player too. I'm like, I don't play bass.
Yeah.
Well, I learned to play drums though. Ton of BS saying highest pick the Seahawks ever had was second Notre Dame quarterback Rick Meyer in 1993.
Okay.
Number one overall pick. I think it was Drew Bledsoe who was the number one.
I think so
pick.
for the Pats. Yeah, back then.
Yep, it was Drew Bledsoe. Yep, of the Bill Parcells. No, was it Bill Parcells the coach? No, he wasn't. He wasn't because it was Don McPherson who was the coach, I think.
Oh, okay.
Hector from insert name FC joining us, saying the Hector Flores saying the guy whose job was to find dirty laundry on players was annoying.
Oh yeah, when he's like, "Ask me what happened."
Ask me what happened. What happened?
I'm tired of playing this game with you.
Nobody came to his 21st birthday party.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, but that is one of the scenes I liked when he says the thing to his team, and they're like, "There's nothing on Bo Callahan. There's nothing bad on Bo Callahan." And then he says, "Hey, look, people didn't like Montana's footwork. People didn't think Peyton Manning had the arm. There's got to be something, you know."
People thought John Elway's arm was too strong.
Yep. So that's I did like that.
Oh yeah, and the scene where the private detective or whatever he was, the guy. I don't know if he was a private detective or just a guy who just did background work. Talking about the $100 bill on the back of the playbook.
Yeah,
that was a reference to DeMarcus Russell.
Oh,
teams would put DeMarcus Russell. Teams would put $100 bill. I think it was the Redskins who put $100 bill on the back of the playbook, and to see if he actually read through the playbook, and he lied to them.
yeah. Jamarcus had a cannon for an arm, but no shade. He was not reading playbooks. He was not watching film.
No, I can throw a 60-yard ball sitting down. Good for you. Does he say my husband has a Topps Rick Meyer rookie card? It's a reflective card.
Oh, nice.
Solid. Chelsea says you can fly from London to New York and land before you ever took off. It's true.
Only on Anthony Molina's plane.
Yeah, only on Anthony Molina's like gyro jet. Playmaker saying Trish Stratus, yes.
Yeah. I think a whole generation of men of a certain age would agree with you, Playmaker, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, and Mr. Cruz saying Parcells is the Patriots coach in 93. I couldn't remember if it was 93 or if we started in 93 or 94. 1993 New England Patriots.
Yeah, because I can't remember when Pete Carroll coached the Patriots either.
Pete Carroll came after Parcells.
Yeah, because Carroll was on the Jets first, right? He coached the Jets.
Carroll coached the Jets in 94 during the infamous Spike game. And yes, you are correct. Parcells was the head coach in 1993. And Playmaker saying he'll get the last word before we do our ad read. Sorry, all I heard was Trish. Yes, Patricia Stratiogis, I think her name.
Yeah, something like that. I got to go watch her A&E Legends biography again. That was a great series.
Yeah, they were revealing a lot of the real names of the wrestlers in the Mr. McMahon documentary. But yeah, John Cena's real name is John Cena. Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton. Yeah.
All right, so this has been the first edition of No Ticket Required. right, before we move on to the rest of our topics for tonight, just want to tell you about our newest affiliate sponsorship, as with Fanatics. And Fanatics, at Fanatics, you no matter where you watch, the stadium, the couch, or the watch party, one thing unites all fans. That's the gear. At Fanatics, we've got your team, your passion, your game day. Official jerseys, exclusive drops, and the freshest fan fits from kickoff to buzzer beater, from puck drop to walk-off. Thousands of styles, one destination, all Fanatics. Also, check out their other merchandise. You can get some memorabilia, some pretty cool memorabilia in there. So, Fanatics, the ultimate fan shop. Our link is in the description. That's our affiliate link. It helps the show. We earn a little bit of cash for every order that is made through our affiliate link. I actually got my Utah Mammoth shirt last week. I forgot to wear it on the show on Saturday, like I promised, but I did wear it to church on Sunday.
Save it for when Kevin returns for the Saturday show. Do that. He'll like that.
Will do. But yes, Fanatics, the link's in the description. That's our official affiliate link. And again, it helps the show with every order. We get a little bit of money back from every order. So please use that affiliate link in the description to get any sort of gear, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats. Again, memorabilia. We have some pretty cool memorabilia in the shop for all major leagues, all different other leagues like MLS, WWE, National Lacrosse League, even the rugby stuff, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty impressed with that. So yes, Fanatics, links in the description, both on the YouTube and on the podcast side. Use our affiliate link. Helps the show a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you want to celebrate the Browns' fictional banger of a draft, get your Browns apparel. Maybe you can make a Sonny Weaver Jr. jersey, or a Bo Callahan, or a Vontae Mack jersey.
Yes, get your Vontae Mack jersey. Actually, you probably could get a Vontae Mack jersey at Fanatics. All right, we are going to talk about this new movie coming out sometime, hopefully next year, which we may have to add to our no ticket required. Hopefully, if production's not lost, which is kind of rumored. I think Barstool had an article about production going crazy because of Nicolas Cage's method acting. But new movie coming out hopefully next year. It's currently in production or pre-production, however you want to call it. This is about John Madden.
Yeah.
It's about the end of his coaching career and how he develops the Madden video game. But this is a cast of characters we have so far. This is who we have verified as part of the cast. Christian Bale is playing Al Davis, Oakland / Los Angeles Raiders owner, Al Davis. Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden.
Oh, man. I hope he does a tough acting Tinactin commercial in this movie.
Oh, I hope so, too. Catherine Hahn plays Virginia Madden, John Madden's wife.
Okay.
Sienna Miller as Carol Davis, Al's wife. John Mulaney as Trip Hawkins, who is the founder of EA Sports, and also recently added to the production, Shane Gillis, comedian Shane Gillis, has been added to the cast. Although I don't know who he's playing, it has a role in the movie, doesn't have an official role as to who's playing. But currently, principal photography began on April 24th, and it's currently in production. But this is pretty wild. So, Dustin, let's talk about this movie a little bit. This is just, I don't know. What do you think of Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. First of all, Playmaker saying Nicolas Cage playing John Madden is still head scratching to me, but I love Nicolas Cage. I'm in the same boat, man, because Cage goes for it always. Whatever he does, sometimes he doesn't make the right decision, but he always makes a decision and goes with it. So I am very curious to see Nicolas Cage play John Madden. Also, extremely curious to see how deep does Christian Bale get into the character of Al Davis, and I want to hear him say Raiders. I want to hear him do it. And the thing is, I really I'm in for this movie. Okay. No ticket, whether we do no ticket required, if it comes out in the summer or if we're going to make it bonus content. Either way, if this movie comes out next year, we are reviewing this movie. And the one role that was conspicuously missing, if it's talking about his post-coaching career and the development of the Madden video game, there's got to be somebody playing Pat Summerall in this movie, and I'd be curious to see who that is. And also the thing that has me excited a little bit is David O. Russell is directing this movie, who, if memory serves, worked previously with Christian Bale in The Big Short, and I like that movie. So that movie, you want to talk, that movie's fast-paced, Ryan, and they break the fourth wall a lot in it too. So I can imagine that this movie is going to be a similar style. I'm pumped up for this one. What about you?
So these are the movie credits for David O. Russell. He was the director and writer for Flirting with Disaster, Three Kings, I Heart Huckabees. He directed The Fighter, which we'll have to put that in no ticket required for next year. That's an excellent movie.
All right, we got a list going.
That one's with Tom Hardy and Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. Nope. Movie's Fighter I was thinking of, not The Fighter, but The Fighter is actually a very good movie with Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, Amy Adams, another swoon movie. But this was based on the true story of Mickey Ward, who was a famous boxer. Also wrote and directed Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, and Amsterdam.
Okay, so I was thinking American Hustle, not The Big Short. That's what I was thinking. I got him crossed off.
That was Adam McKay.
Yeah, Adam McKay directed The Big Short. Yeah, that's right. And he also did the Winning Time series, which if you haven't watched that on HBO, watch it. I can't believe they canceled it after 2 seasons.
Also directed Ron Burgundy.
Anchorman. Anchorman, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that he and Will Ferrell are not on speaking terms right now. So
yeah, that's tough.
Playmaker saying Christian Bale I can believe because of Dark Knight, and Desi saying it's bizarre.
It is. The Cage casting
as
Madden is bizarre, yeah.
Well, I was reading some of this on Wikipedia, and originally they were trying to get Will Ferrell to play John Madden, but that was not going to work, I don't think.
Yeah.
Then they had Hugh Jackman possibly playing John Madden and Tom Hanks to play Al Davis. But but they announced that in August Nicolas Cage was playing John Madden, and it was last month they still had not really settled on every role, but Christian Bale jumped on board as Al Davis, John Mulaney jumped on board as Trip Hawkins, and Catherine Hahn and Sienna Miller. And then this month, Shane Gillis was joining the cast too. Yep. I wonder if he's going to play Summerall.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know, but I have to say I like Tom Hanks as Al Davis. I think he could have pulled it off because if you've seen him as the Colonel Tom Parker in the Elvis movie, yeah, he could do Al Davis. But I like the Bale pick for Al Davis. I think that's going to work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. Hopefully Nicolas Cage isn't. This is what drives me nuts about method actors, so that they get too into their role.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever saw the Jim Carrey documentary. I think it's on Netflix.
Yes,
of him as Andy Kaufman.
Yeah,
and Man on the Moon, when people would follow him around. I think it was Tom Chadwick who followed him around with a camera with a VHS recorder, recording Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman. And he was always in that mode, always in that that mindset of being Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
The same thing with who was it? Who played Lincoln?
Oh,
Daniel
I was just
Day-Lewis.
about to say it. Daniel Day-Lewis,
is always like into it. Like he was going as far as having people address him as Mr. Lincoln off
or
set.
Abe, yes, and he gave them letters. Yeah, okay. Daniel Day-Lewis and Jim Carrey are both very good at what they do. I will say that, but that would drive me nuts. It would be insufferable. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah, that's why I would never be able to hang out with method actors, because if it get into their thing, like you just hang out with them, it's like, oh hey Bob, how you doing? Don't call me Bob. Call me President Bush.
Yeah.
No, you're Bob.
And it didn't even, and the thing is, it didn't even work because Jared Leto famously did that. Leto or Leto, however you want to say it. I've heard it both ways, but I think it's Leto. Jared Leto famously did that to play the Joker in the Squad movies.
The Unalive Squad movies.
Yeah, and he just made a bunch of people mad because he was sending them like pig heads and stuff. Like, and if you've seen those movies, his Joker's not a good Joker, man. I have no problem with Jared Leto as an actor. I've seen him do a great job in other things. Shout out to you, Jordan Catalano, if you watched My So-Called Life back in the day. But like, man, it's too far. It's too far.
He also makes good cult leader.
I have not seen.
If you want to watch a great roast of Jared Leto, watch Normal World. There's a Normal World episode last year where they made fun of him for climbing the Empire State Building to promote his tour for 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah,
and then they absolutely roast him at the end, and it's so good. Dave Landau, shout out to you, man. I love that guy. Desi saying it should be a fun movie. I'm interested in it for no other reason than just to see how it turns out. Me too. Grab your popcorn, people.
Yeah.
Buckle up. It's Madden starring Nicolas Cage. So excited for this movie. So we're going to take a noticeably darker turn.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the newest release from the Players Tribune on Netflix, of the Untold series. This one's particularly about the fall of Brett Favre. And this one is... Let me just... I'll start off with this. I'll give my thoughts.
You lead off.
I'll lead off with this one. So going into this, I actually read there's an article on Belly Up Sports. I'll give a shout out to my fellow Ryan Capalbo, who watched this particular hour-long thing show talking about Brett Favre. And watching this myself, I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions. I will say this first of all. First off, Brett Favre. Oh my God, speaking of John Madden, Brett Favre. He was, how in the movies, in the TV shows, you had the stereotypical quarterback who was like the hot shots, gunslinger. Gets all the girls, gets all the, Brett Favre is that guy. Brett Favre is the epitome of hot shot, cocky quarterback.
Yeah.
Who just left and right has women as beck and call left and right, even though he's married.
Yeah.
I'm being
Deanna Favre.
I'm being warned by Playmaker. Careful, Ryan. No lawsuits. No, I'm being as delicate as I can.
Yes.
Considering that Brett Favre declined to have this to go and be interviewed for this because of the pending lawsuits he currently has. Mind you, there's civil lawsuits with the state of Missouri for his involvement in a Medicaid scam, as well as other things. But let me talk about this a little bit. So, yes, stereotypical hotshot quarterback, women left and right, possibly extramarital affairs with different women.
Yeah.
God bless the NFR for putting up with all that stuff. Then you kind of roll into the Jen Sturger thing, who talks about in detail how Brett Favre tried to got her number somehow.
Yeah.
How he left voicemail messages for her, left text messages for her, sent that infamous photo that we won't say. And then come to find out, she never met the man.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I'm very confused. And it talks about her leaving the Jets. You know, she made her way into the spotlight because she wore bikini top to a Florida State football game in 2003 or 2005.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's the it girl of the internet. Then she gets the job with SI.com. She goes to the New York Jets as a sideline correspondent, I guess, in-house correspondent. After that, goes to Versus, has a show for less than a month, gets canceled because of either for whatever reason, whether because it was too much of a risk to have her on air because of the whole supposed Brett Favre thing. Also, Deadspin, you suck.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate Deadspin, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna wreck that guy.
I'm not one for busting. I'm not one for busting on fellow internet publishers, but Deadspin, you're the worst. The worst. WORST or WURST, depending on how you feel about it. Yeah. The worst for having this interview off record with Jen Sturger.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna publish it anyway.
Yeah, it was just a correspondence. And then he's like, oh, well, I said to somebody that if there's two people, I will censor it. You know, if there's two people that come out of this looking pretty bad, it's me and Brett Favre. It's like, you're an idiot, man. Yeah. He looked every bit of the shyster that he proved out.
He looked every bit of the scuzzy.
Yep.
Like tabloid journalist publisher that you would think there'll be, again, stereotypes don't lie sometimes.
Yep.
Hotshot, cocky quarterback gets all the girls. Scuzzy tabloid publisher.
Yeah.
Stereotypes don't lie sometimes. But yeah, then it comes back to the Jen Sturger saying, I never met the guy. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And they got Jamel Hill, who I've shared my opinions about Jamel Hill. So when she's involved, there's going to be a slant in some direction. And at least in my opinion. They talk about Michael Vick, who's had his share of legal troubles. We won't go into that.
Yes.
And then we go all the way fast forward to present day, where Brett Favre is trying to get the endorsements for Copper Fit. By the way, Copper Fit is pretty freaking good, FYI. And then you go to the whole trial, the whole thing with the Medicaid scandal with the state of Mississippi. I have questions about that too. Yes, it definitely looks shady that some of this money that was appropriated for the lowest of the low, the poorest of the poor. Again, why are we keeping them there? Is beyond me. Some of it went to himself. Some of it went to the University of Southern Mississippi for the women's volleyball court.
Yeah,
some of it went to his business. And then the text messages that come out saying like what about this money? I don't know if he's just naive or he's actually hella corrupt. I've got my mind up in the air. People have formed their opinions about that. I have questions. Like I've got a degree in journalism. I can't just sit and take things in black and white. I have to look at the gray areas and saying, okay, where do these facts line up? I just have so many questions about this whole thing. And then in Congress, he says, I've got Parkinson's. I'm like,
yeah,
man, where's it end? Where's it end?
Yeah.
So at the end of the interview, it's about how there's a civil lawsuit against him in the state of Mississippi. He declined the interview, declined to be interviewed. Also the thing about the thing about with his dad.
Yes.
And I was really hoping during the Western Conference semifinal in the NHL when Mark Scheifele's dad passed away the day of Game 6. I was like, Brett Favre game incoming. I was hoping for him, but then he scores the first goal. It's kind of sidetrack here. Then commits the penalty that Dallas scores on to end the series, and I'm like, oh, yeah, sucks. But yeah, this is everything. So if you have Netflix, watch it for yourself. Make your own judgment. Make your own decision. Don't just come out of this saying, "Oh, he's a scumbag. He's totally jerk." And it's like, wait a second, I've got questions. So that's just me. But I've spoken long enough, Dustin. What's your thoughts about this particular version of of Untold?
All right. So obviously, like you said, they're cutting things together. There's things that didn't make the cutting room floor. Apparently, there's more stuff Jen Sturger had to say that they did not put in this. But I will say, I came out of this documentary, whether you believe everything it does and whether you get its message completely, that's up to you. Everything's up to interpretation. All I really have to go off of is the documentary, although you did point out one of the inconsistencies that I noticed even within the documentary, because Jen Sturger says she never met the man, but the employee that walked around with her, who they interviewed, his name is escaping me, and she kind of confided in him and told him, like, hey, this is what's going on. He said that he would see them in the tunnel. He, being Brett Favre, would see them, and he was trying to get Jen Sturger's attention. So he said right in the, he's like, Favre is signaling, trying to get Jen. Yes.
Tim Andre
trying to get Jen Sturger's attention. And then she said she never met him, so I don't know. There's some gray area there. I will definitely give you that.
I have a question though. What if Tim Andre was the employee that gave Brett Favre her number?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think so based off of what he said, but I mean, because I'm
speculating. So
yeah, but they had the name of the person who gave the number in the MySpace messages. It was blacked out. It was redacted or like blurred. Mm-hmm. So it said like blur, so-and-so works in PR for the Jets. So I doubt that they would, if they had that screenshot, they wouldn't be like, do you think Tim Andre would have agreed to get in front of a camera if he knew he was the one? I don't know. So these are the things we all, but I will say the documentary does a good job of illustrating it illustrates in a very short time how the legend of Brett Favre was built and how he kind of kept getting away with it. And they go into detail about Mike Sherman not happy with Brett Favre after an errant pass, and Brett and Mike Sherman supposedly dressing down Favre and just lighten up the sidelines, and Favre just kind of turns to him and smiles and says, "What are you going to do about it?" Because he knew his status with the Packers, and he knew his status with the team. And also you can kind of see a glimpse with the way Brett Favre handled his multiple retirements and unretirements and the whole thing. A lot of the stuff that people want to levy at Aaron Rodgers right now about holding teams, quote unquote, the teams are kind of handcuffed because they don't know what he's going to do. Brett Favre was doing that. But this documentary did a great job of humanizing Jen Sturger. Okay. There's the one part where she says, I think it was I got a lot of hate from people because Brett Favre is Brett Favre and I'm just a picture. And some of the interviewee in there that was like, oh no, you didn't find it. If you completely believe Jen Sturger's version of events, which I probably bought it a little bit more, although I do have some of the questions that you have, Ryan, you pointed those out. So I'm not going to go into greater detail, but it humanized Jen Sturger and also Peter King. I did not realize that Peter King was like as close with Favre as this documentary purports him to be. And there was a writer that they asked him while he was in Green Bay covering Favre. They asked him to write an article about Brett Favre, Family Man. And the guy says, like, I don't write fiction. He said that. So if you were looking for a back of the box quote, that's one right there. That's going to get you to watch the documentary. But and I just have F the Deadspin guy written down because seriously, again, we're going to get into that. That's terrible. But the one thing that I took, and I'm going to dance as delicately as I can around this, I think the underlying message of the doc and what it's trying to do, and I like how they pointed out that Irv Favre was kind of Brett's guiding compass, similar to the analogy of people say Mike Tyson kind of went off track a little bit when Cus D'Amato died. I think this documentary paints between the lines and kind of is trying to make the same analogy between Brett and Irv Favre, I guess. And you could make an argument for that. But you mentioned having Michael Vick in there, and whether you think that Michael Vick has, should still pay for what he did, or whether you believe that he's paid his time, his quotes talking about, he says some of us become untouchable, and like he goes down, and I thought he was the perfect person to talk about these kind of issues, because he's been down this road, and he at one point says he's been very candid that he thought he was untouchable. But the thing is, the irony is, and I realize these are apples and oranges, but Michael Vick he had consequences. Whether you think they were severe enough, he had consequences. And as of now, Brett Favre has had 0 consequences for this scandal. If everything that they allege in the scandal is true, he should get in trouble for this. And then, like I said, to say nothing about what happened to Jen Sturger, she definitely had consequences for this and had to deal with a lot of stuff. But I will say, none of the people, that 6 to 7 individuals that were involved besides Favre, none of them have had any consequences. Meanwhile, you got Michael Vick who served consequences. So I just was like, oh man, they're painting some parallels. Maybe I read too far into it, but that having Michael Vick in that documentary and talking about how people can be put up as untouchable, I think was a nice touch, because he was a person that once thought he was untouchable, and he had to pay. He had to pay for what he did. So, oh man, there's a lot, but there is those text messages, they don't look good. And I realize it takes more than text, but then of course the editing, but like you said, Ryan, it ends with Brett Favre in Congress, before Congress. And, he's like laughing because somebody said something complimentary to him. And then he's like, oh yeah, it's too late for me because I got Parkinson's. Come on, man. Oh man. This documentary leaves you with a lot of questions. To quote Jesse Ventura, we're just asking questions.
We're just asking questions. I mean, I did look up Brett Favre's net worth. He's worth around 100 mil as a net worth. So it's not just cash, but it's also assets and that kind of thing. So
yeah,
if you took that money, pay it back. Like,
honestly, yeah,
you can pay it back tenfold.
Well, and you did the years of Wrangler commercials and the copper fit, and you had like a pristine image. Man, I don't know if he did this. I don't know why you would even want to do this. Like the hubris that it would take to be like, yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Dusty saying there's a lot of us down here that think Brett is somewhere in between, a little naive and a little corrupt. It's never so simple. I don't disagree. There's always a side of people that you don't think that you think are one. You see the public image, and behind the scenes they're a completely different person. It's a lot darker, than you think it is. I mean, you see this person in front of you now, like off scene. Although I will say, the person you see here, and Dustin, and same for Dustin, like we're the same in person as we are on camera.
Yeah, usually
what you see is what you get.
If anything, I'm probably a little more reserved on cam. Who knows?
That's true.
Sometimes,
but you get into it when you need to get into it. So
yeah.
That's the Untold, the Fall of Favre.
Yeah, Fall of Favre.
All right, we're going to conclude our show tonight with our favorite athletes to number 38. By the way, this is not only episode number 38 of the 2025 year. It's also episode 275 in Canada.
Wow.
No credentials required. We're 275 in.
Man, we're getting close to 300.
We are. Only 25 more episodes till 300. And by that time, we'll be on our favorite athletes to wear the number 63.
Man, this favorite athlete thing.
And I know I figured out one already.
Oh man, I'm in trouble.
But I mean, this one was pretty tough to go with too. Number 30. Our favorite athletes to wear number 38. So I'll reveal mine, Dustin, but why don't you go ahead first?
All right. Well, Mr. Cruz, if you're still watching, My reference to Return of the Mac was not to Craig Mack, although hats off to you for knowing that one, sir. It is because my favorite 38, this one came easy to me. Ryan, get the Homer button ready.
Oh, hang on. I got it. I got it. There it is. Homer alert.
Thank you, sir. So I did not plan this, but if you tuned in last episode, you know that I picked one-time Alabama Crimson Tide and former Seahawk running back Sean Alexander. He wore number 37. You want to know who was number 38 and was in front of him coming out of the eye and blocking for Sean Alexander for a lot of years? As a matter of fact, he signed with the Seahawks in 1993 as an undrafted free agent, and he spent his entire 14-year career with my beloved Seattle Seahawks. He is none other than the man with the greatest name for a fullback of all time, Mac Strong, number 38. Mac Strong, widely considered, he went to Georgia. He went to Georgia, and there were a few running backs in front of him there that were pretty good. So his coaches said to him, hey, you're either going to move to fullback and block for others, or good luck. And Mac moved to fullback, and he still amassed some receiving yards and some rushing yards. I think over 1,000 rushing yards and some touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, I think, at Georgia as a fullback after the move. So he could move a little bit. And he previously held, until Marshawn Lynch broke the record, he had the record for the longest run for a Seahawk in a playoff game at 32 yards. Mac Strong, man. Mac Strong, blocking in front of Sean Alexander, deserves a lot of credit. He wasn't necessarily huge in stature for a football player, but like I said, he played his entire 14-year career with the Seahawks. He was the recipient of the Steve Largent Award, which is a Seahawks team award for the person who best illustrates and exemplifies the qualities of former receiver and Seahawks legend Steve Largent, and Mac won that award 5 times. That's more than anybody has won it. He also was a 2-time Pro Bowler in 2005 and 2006, and also, I think if you go back to the numbers, those were 2 of Sean's best seasons. So Mac deserves some of the credit for that, along with the offensive line. And Mac Strong blocked for 3 1,000-yard rushers in his time with the Seahawks. Sean Alexander, Ricky Waters, and the name of the third one is escaping me. But yeah, Mac Strong, he's my pick, not only because he has the greatest name for a fullback of all time, but Mac Strong, number 38, hats off to you. Forced to retire after 14 years because of a spinal injury. So hats off to you, Mr. Strong.
The third you're looking for is Chris Warren.
Chris Warren, my apologies.
Apologies. My number 38, honorable mention for number 38, Mark Kelso. Mark Kelso of the Buffalo Bills with the safety cap. The double cap, before the big helmets came in, before you saw the caps you see, the Guardian caps you have right now. Mark Kelso had the Guardian cap before the Guardian cap ever came to existence. If you look at old photos of Mark Kelso, number 38 with the Buffalo Bills, safety. I want to say he's played special teams too. Although Steve Tasker was the guy who was who was prominently known.
That's who I remember.
The gunner for the Buffalo Bills, but Mark Kelso, who was Mr. Guardian Cap before Guardian Caps were a thing in the 2024-2023. But I'm going to go with another hockey name for number 38. And unfortunately he's no longer in this realm. He passed away. He was now I'll tell you why in a second, but Pavel Demitra. Former St. Louis Blue, former Vancouver Canuck, Minnesota Wild, Los Angeles Kings, was originally drafted by the Ottawa Senators. Then Ottawa, when they were back when the early 90s to early to mid 90s, when they were basically a dog water of a franchise before they start getting build momentum and with the Alfredson years and all that. They actually wound up trading Dimitra to the St. Louis Blues in 1996, during 96 and 97. But then that's when his career started to take off. Scored 89 points in 1999, scored 93 points. And this was in the day that you didn't see a whole lot of 80 and 90 point scorers in the NHL. But he was part of that St. Louis Blues team with Chris Pronger on the back end. I believe it was Roman Turek who was in goal for the Blues in those days. Solid team coached by Ken Hitchcock in those days. Underrated goal scorer, underrated forward. One of the best underrated forwards in the league at that time in the early 2000s. Played with the Kings, played with the Wild. Concluded his NHL career with the Canucks, and then in 2010 he signed with a Russian team, and Russia with a KHL team. And then in 2011, unfortunately, we lost him, and he was involved. He was in the same plane that was carrying the locomotive Yaroslavl team on a flight, and he was one of basically the entire team was wiped out in that plane crash. Basil McRae, former NHLer, he was on the same flight. He was coaching that team. Or no, it wasn't Basil McRae. No, it wasn't Basil McRae. It was Kelly. I think it was Kelly McCrimmon. Sorry, it was Kelly McCrimmon. I was trying to get my Max mixed up. But he was in that plane crash, and we lost him too soon. He would have been 50 years old in November. But Pavel Demitra was one of the underrated goal scorers, underrated forwards of the late 90s, early 2000s NHL that doesn't get mentioned a whole lot unless you're in St. Louis. I believe his number is retired in St. Louis. But here's the, I guess you could say, the storybook ending for that team that got lost in that plane crash. Mm-hmm. The Lokomotiv Yaroslavl team won the Gagarin Cup this year. It was their first one ever. And the day after they won the Gagarin Cup, they went to the gravesite. They went to the memorial for that team, which Pavel Demitra was on. And it was pretty cool to see. It was very emotional if you're a part of that city of Yaroslavl. It was great for them, great for the team. But yeah, number 38, my favorite athlete to wear number 38 was Pavel Demitra, just because of what he did again, underrated forward in that era of the NHL, where you didn't have a lot of premier forwards, because the league was the talent pool was so diluted because of over expansion and not a whole lot of quality players. Pavel Demitra was one of those quality players, and if you're someone in St. Louis, you'll know that name, and you'll be like, love that guy. So, but yeah, unfortunately, no longer part of this realm, and but he's remembered. So that's it for me. Disney saying my number 38 is Glenn Coffey. He rushed for 1,383 yards and 10 touchdowns in his final season at the University of Alabama. After a short stint in the NFL, he served in the military and also in ministry. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Cool. So Glenn Coffey for Desi.
And again, another Alabama Crimson Tide. How many can she name keeping up with us?
She's going to name them. She's going to keep naming them. Yeah. But I will say this. I've already got number 39 locked in the chamber. I've already got number 40 locked in the chamber. 41, 42, and 43 are kind of escaping me. But 39, 40, just already got locked in the chamber.
41 and 42, I got locked down. 39, 40, I got some work to do.
I got mine, but we're gonna end things here. Thanks for joining us here on No Credentials Required. Before we get out of here, again, programming note: Friday's show will be a happy hour show, 8 p.m. Eastern, because I got going to my sister's dance recital on Saturday morning. Actually, I'll see your sister there too.
So she will be there. Okay.
She will be there. Yeah.
Cool.
But so Friday night show, 8 p.m. Eastern, come get an adult beverage or a beverage of your choice. It doesn't have to be an adult beverage. It doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage. It can be whatever beverage you want. Water, soda, iced tea, sweet tea, whatever you fancy. come along and join us. We'll talk some sports. But in the meantime, follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and also on our YouTube page following this show. And don't forget to get notified on Twitter, on YouTube. That way you know when show announcements go up. That way you know when the live show goes up. That way you know when the audio goes up. We'll let you know. We'll give you the audio on both YouTube, and you can find out on Twitter when it's released. I will give you a hint though. Usually the audio is released around 9:30 on Tuesday nights, and 12:30, 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoons. Although they'll probably release around 10 o'clock on Saturday morning because we're having our show on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks again for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Remember, Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern, join us for our happy hour, and we will talk to you then. Have a great week.
Good night, everybody.